Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. 5 is the number of grace. So introducing you to part 5 of our series with Wandia, the co-founder and CEO of Vivo Activewear. I really pray that you enjoy the conversation.
There's a lot of horror stories out there.
Oh, many.
But there are also some really
good ones.
Good ones.
Yeah,
so I think finding the right partner matters.
And when you partner with the right people, then it also increases the presence of the brand and the width of the brand. I mean, it can just take it to another level.
There's a scaling which is very difficult to do alone.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the resources and the know-how that comes with the investors.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so my younger self, well, I didn't start this business when I was young, so it's not a very younger self. It would be I was 43, I think, when we started. Looking back, what would I have done differently? I probably would have taken more time to think about who to hire, who to bring on the team. I think when you're starting, you think you don't have much choice, and so you just start
with whoever you can grab quickly. I think that's a really serious interpretation, because I would have that regret as well. You know, just really being conscious.
I think, and it's about fit. It's like a cultural fit. Like, does someone have the same sort of approach to work, to engagement, to contribution, to effort? Everyone's gonna take time to learn. Everyone's gonna make mistakes. But there are people on your team who, if you haven't chosen the right fit, will have a negative impact on the rest of the team.
Yes.
And that then becomes problematic. So I think, at the end of the day, you can never build a big business alone.
Yes.
And so who you bring on board as your team, for me, I hadn't realized just how important that is. And then to the time it will take. So by the time I started needing to hire more professional people, I hadn't understood how much you then have to invest in those people.
So that they may deliver.
Yes, and so that you grow together. Because I think I did it out of, now the business had gotten bigger than I could handle in the functions I was doing. So it's like, okay, I need someone and just take over. And then I just turn around and start continuing to do the other things. And then they struggle because, and then now you turn back around and say, well, how come it's not being done? So I think investing in people, choosing the right people, and then putting the time, making sure it's clear.
Yes, because sometimes that's the thing with communication. We expect something to be done, but we haven't communicated how we want it done. And there are so many ways to tackle a particular situation that you really must say how you want it to be done. And I was just thinking as you're speaking, I'm just reflecting on the fact that I think sometimes why that happens is that we don't think we have something to offer.
Exactly.
If you were starting Vivo today with what you know now with hindsight, then you would have gotten the right people in place. Yes. But at that stage, most of us feel like we don't have anything to offer. You're
almost grateful that anyone's coming on
board.
So
but
you can sell the vision even then.
Yes.
It's important to do that, because then you're attracting the people who are buying into that
vision.
So that would be one. I think a second one would be, let me think about this. In terms of, and maybe it's kind of linked in a way, but when you're clear about where you're trying to go, it helps you. It might give you that confidence. So when your opportunities present themselves, you walk into the room believing you have something to offer, and therefore even when that negotiation is happening, you don't walk in with low self-esteem, low confidence. So if I think about even the types of, like in Vivo's case, when you would walk into a mall and say, I'd like to have some space here, we would go in like we're beggars,
apologetic,
like, please just take a chance on us, and it's like, well, and maybe obviously it's easier to have a different conversation when you have something to prove, but if we had believed in it from the beginning, I think even the tone of that conversation would have been a little different. And so And the problem is when you start a business with that small mentality, even as you grow, what I find is we have maintained it. And I even say to my team, guys,
even unknowingly,
even today at the size we are, we're still acting like we're
apologetic.
We're apologizing or we're juakali. I'm like, no, we can actually walk into a room and have a conversation as a genuine partner.
Yes. And a Vivo can change the conversation in a mall, and it's pulling its own weight and pulling in its own people. So
sometimes thinking small, it ends up making you sort of make bad decisions. You know, you might buy cheap because you don't think you deserve something better.
That's true.
So like if you're going to invest in, I'm just giving you examples. Like let's say a sound system for the store. Must you go for the cheapest one, and then that thing will break?
I know.
And you'll end up paying double for it anyway.
Just
but it's
pay
the
full
reason
price.
that made you buy the cheap one in the beginning was you were like, we can't afford.
We can't afford that one.
We can't afford everything. We can't. So I think just a mental shift.
And I was thinking also expectations. Just expect it to do well. Expect to do well. Expect to succeed. That's what I keep hearing. Expectations. Have a good expectation of what this is going to come out. The results.
We would have expanded our sort of board earlier on.
Okay.
And for small businesses, you might not necessarily want to create a formal board. But at least an advisory.
So it can be an advisory board. I was going to say,
Because for the first several years, I mean, we did have a board in it. Anne-Marie and my brother were on it and are still on it. But it would have helped to have had some other outside
eyes
that can come in and look, from an objective point of view. They're not in the day-to-day, they're not your best friend, they're not your brother, so they can have a much more honest conversation and be like, we can see you're messing up here, or you really need to think about this, or here's an opportunity that you're not taking advantage of. And when we brought that in, it was like maybe 2-3 years ago, and it has really helped. It's really helped. So I would encourage people to think about that earlier on. You don't have to wait until you're a certain size to get that kind of advice.
But I think sometimes also we're protecting ourselves. We're protecting ourselves
and fair enough.
Because it's fair. So it's on two sides.
You have to pick someone,
the right people,
the people you trust. But it has to be people who will tell you the truth. Objectively, and not be like.
Like what did you just do? And it's amazing because I was even thinking even those people and that pair of eyes can even bring networks in, networks, because you see the one thing I've understood about life and everything about it is all about relationships, and they open the right doors, they open the right networks. So probably somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, and then it will just get you moving faster if you do that. But I do understand the fact that people sometimes want to protect yourself.
So let me just say another thank you to you because
really?
Yes,
because wow, this is really nice.
There's a lot of direct things, and this is a pseudo indirect, but it's still direct. Last year you invited me to your Women's Day event.
Yes, the family talk event.
And
yes.
Not the I'm talking about the Women's Day.
Yes, the one where International Women's Day.
We
celebrated you and recognized you for
the brand
in Vivo. Yes.
Sylvia, who I didn't know well, pulled me aside and she's like, by the way, I need to tell you about this organization called Endeavor.
She told me, yes.
And then we followed up and I ended up applying and I ended up becoming, it is one of the best global networks
you have ever entered. Thank you, Sylvia.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
And it was from that day at that event.
We really
that was the first time I heard about it, and she sits on the board and encouraged me to apply and got, put me in touch with the right people. And if Vivo, part of Vivo's growth is going to be because of that.
Because of
the relationships that have been created through that network as well.
You see, we really thank God, and thank you, Sylvia. But I love that. You see, that's how women operate. I love that. It was just calm. We just want to recognize you for your brand. We just want to acknowledge that you're doing something good, and there she is. And she sits there and she opens the door, which is what I was saying. You see, that advisory board,
and you see,
somebody can give a different eye and give a perspective and open for you another door.
So
and you see?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm
the bigger impact of your community.
Yes, I'm amazed at that. Yeah, I really am.
And I'm sure there are many other. Oh, another one. So when I had come to speak. There's a time I came and spoke.
Yeah, speaker series. Because sometimes when we don't have enough time, like that day you didn't say anything. So we usually want the awardees to come and speak later.
And one of the ladies who was there got in touch with me afterwards and said, I just really like your brand. And she came and did an entire day's workshop on branding.
Yes. Emily. Yeah. Wow.
Wonderful.
Absolutely
I mean,
amazing.
just, and you know, didn't even ask for payment. I mean, she just said, I just want to, you know, I get excited about the whole, you know, thinking about brands and helping brands and whatever. She was right in between jobs.
Yes, yes, and
she was leaving one role and about, you know, and she still made the time.
Yes, and I love that. You see, and actually part of your stories, I think one day we'll have to have you back because all these women who have helped you, I guess, and men, but all these like helping hands and lifting up and people going out of their way to say, I can do this, you know, like Emily, you didn't even ask her. She just sat and said she's excited about this brand and she wants to plug into the brand. The other day I told you and I sent you a message how Dorcas was like,
so I'm gonna call Dorcas.
She wears your stuff every day. I'm not kidding, Wandia. Wow. It's Monday to Monday. She's in Vivo. I even tell her, Vivo, when did you buy this one? You know, that's the other thing with Vivo. It's like, I like the fact that there are few pieces. So when you come, they're gone. So people say this is Vivo, you go back and it's not there. But she wears your outfits every day. So she'll say, you know, I've told the girls at the shop this and this, and I wish they could improve this. So I just wrote you a message, and you see, that's the thing I love about you as well. Yeah, because she has ideas, which I don't know they are about what to do with the clothes, but you know, it's gonna be comfortable for her because she's always in Vivo, and I love the product. I mean, absolutely. Even the colors. The other day I was even seeing some, you know, it's cashmere. It's like a coffee brown. I was like, wow. You know, I'm like, honestly, we have enough Vivo, but we can't. We still got to keep supporting the brand and buying the brand, and it just makes us comfortable and happy. Really, really, I'm so excited about it. And I know there's so many things that we didn't say.
I'm getting so many
your
ideas.
Parents,
as you're talking, I wish I had my notebook. I'm like, I don't
after this, you will do this. At least we have one event. we have an event. Wine, coffee event.
My conversations with Dorcas. I'm thinking about how to get more feedback from clients about even when you talked about color. I'm like, we should know what some of the even colors we don't carry yet. But like, what if you could choose one or two new colors for us? What would you pick? You know, it would just be interesting to see what is it people want, because now we're at the point where we can actually go to the factories that make the fabric and give them the color code that we want made. So we used to have to buy only from the wholesale market. We had to buy, we were limited to what we could find. Now we're starting to order our own colors.
Amazing. And that's success.
You
see?
Because we've reached the volume.
Now say, yes.
So
that's another mark of success one day as you're here, because before you couldn't have, because you know the numbers.
Now I want to start ordering our own prints. Then that's the next thing. I want
There's
to
a print I'm waiting for, by the way. I'm waiting for a print.
She
showed, you know, one day, you know, that's the point, come to the factory. There were some samples I fell in love with. We're always asking with Nancy, we say, has it come? Has it not come? I'll send it to you. Because we're like, we need this print. It is the most absolutely beautiful thing ever on the planet. And it will make us happy, and we'll be very happy about it. Hey, 5 is the number of grace. I'm learning a lot. I'm getting interviewed as well. So that's just been amazing. I hope you're really enjoying these conversations. Conversations that I feel that will urge you to go out there and to create. And I feel like, you know, you've tried it before, try it again. And I hope you've really enjoyed that, you know. Share the video widely, learn a lot. Please speak to us. Tell us what you're learning. Tell us what you'd like to hear. God bless. See you past 6.